quickly, we were talking about the model, which is called the von Thunen's model. Today, we will be completing, try to complete the models. The political geography part will also come over here. And tomorrow, I'm not keeping any class. We'll keep it on Tuesday. Tuesday will be the last class. Is everyone okay? So, an announcement to that effect right in the beginning. Good morning to all. So, कल हम बात कर रहे थे about von Thunen's model. If you have a question about von Thunen, जो भी पूछना चाहते हैं पूछ सकते हैं. We will continue with that idea. The idea was about what? We were looking at the land rent or the locational rent, that every location has a separate rent. That is where we will continue with. So quickly, any questions, any doubts? Good morning, Purvi. Just scrolling up to see if there are any questions so that everyone can join. And today is a Sunday, so probably कुछ लोग exam दे रहे होंगे combat का. I'm sorry, we're just completing this, so wanted to end the course by this date. I thought, by 29th will finish. No questions? Just waiting for everyone to join in. So I have a doubt if ENSO impact Indian Ocean dipole, then normal plus La Nina should make low pressure on Indonesia region, which gives high pressure in Somali region, making the monsoon drier in El Nino warmer west. So somebody asked this question and definitely confused लग रहे हैं मुझे, काफी confused हैं भी. One is not driving the other. ENSO is not driving the IOD. ENSO and IOD are independent things which are happening. So ये आपका नहीं, मैंने Telegram group का question पूछा. So this is one question which was asked कि अगर IOD ऐसा होगा, normal La Nina होगा तो IOD. These are two different developments in the different oceans. They have their own valencies. Do you get that? यहाँ ये confusion था. So just try to answer that also. So if nothing and if most of you joined in, let's go to locational rent. So quickly tell me what is locational rent. Have a look at your notebook and tell me what is locational rent. Okay, so जल्दी से बताइए locational rent क्या समझ में आया था? What is locational rent? So the concept is locational rent. The material has already been uploaded. One of the earliest attempts to explain agricultural land use. The book is called Isolated State. The place is called Rostock in Germany. वहाँ उनका practical experience है और उन्होंने analysis किया है. He's done a normative deductive theory, normative model बनाया है based on the idea of economic rent, which had been described earlier by Ricardo. Although unaware of Ricardo's work, economic rent is the net income obtained from an area of land over and above net income of the land of extensive economic margin cultivation. अब ये समझना मुश्किल है. Yesterday, did we understand through that graph? We had drawn that graph. So we had looked at the fertility being the same. Your location will decide your output and as a result your profit. Is everyone okay? Ricardo based his ideas on economic rent on fertility differences. Sorry, Ricardo was fertility difference. Von Thunen, on the other hand, said that the quality of land varies not with respect to fertility but with respect to location. So he was probably fertility rent. I would say his economic rent was depending upon your fertility, you have differential rent. But here I can see, here the difference lies in the fact that you have differential rent, not in terms of fertility. Okay. Assumptions भी हमने कर लिया था. अब मॉडल पे आ रहे हैं हम one by one. We will go into the model. Market prices, transport cost. His model examines the location several crop in relation to market price. Yesterday we saw the market price curve. Yes, the yield, transport cost, bulk, perishability. This already we have put it in our understanding. So ये मैंने फिर से slide आपके सामने पढ़ी. I've read out the slide just to ensure that we are back into the groove with how it is there. On the basis of these assumptions, Von Thunen constructed a land use model. So what is he doing? He's going to give us a land use model. Where to grow what? That is what we are going to do. So first I would want to go on the idea of locational rent once again. एक बार फिर से देखते हैं कि locational rent क्या होता है, क्यों होता है. I hope everyone is with me on this. So what is locational rent? Distance from city center and transportation cost were decided by locational rent. क्वेश्चन हर बार यही आंसर करते हो. When somebody says what is locational rent, you should be defining it. Yes or no? So whenever a question is asked, आप उसके एग्जाम्पल देने लगते हो. क्यों दे रहे हो ये पता नहीं. So distance from CC and transportation cost is decided by locational rent. पहली बात तो ये उसकी डेफिनेशन है. ऊपर से ये दूसरा गलत हो जाता है. Is not decided by locational rent. They decide the locational rent. Distance from the city center. So this shows कि हम पढ़ नहीं रहे हैं या पढ़ रहे हैं तो समझ नहीं रहे. Please understand. कई बार कहा है what का मतलब what is it, तो उसका डेफिनेशन होता है. What does not mean examples. What does not mean any random thing. ठीक है. और यहाँ तो आप लिंक भी नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. A leads to B or B leads to A है. तो distance and transportation cost is not decided by locational rent. I hope if you read your sentence you will realize कि वो English और सब कुछ गलत है. Transport cost and distance from city center is locational rent. क्या मतलब ये राखी भी ऐसे लिखते हैं और दुष्यंत भी ऐसे लिखता है. जो मर्जी कह लो, पूरा कोर्स निकल गया है. कोर्स के बाद भी हम वही सेम मिस्टेक, no change at all. Locational rent refers to the extra profit or rent due to a favorable location close to city center. ये परिभाषा बताओ. मैंने भी लिखा है, सिंपल है. I have not put in any jargon. What is it that we are understanding? Others could not even think and conceptualize, and these two people are very big experts at putting wrong statements without change. तो मुझे भी कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाता कि भाई आ गया है. So extra profit कैसे है? This is the city center. This is A. This is B. This is C. And this is D. And all of them are 1 kilometer away. So the distance is in all cases 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer. अब यहाँ पर we are having city center पर जो हमारी earning है that is higher than at A, then at B, then at C, then at D. अब बताओ इसमें क्या लिखूं? डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम सीसी. ये है डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम सीसी, बट दिस इज नॉट लोकेशनल रेंट. दिस इज डिस्टेंस. व्हाट इज दिस? दिस इज योर प्रॉफिट. Yes, this is your locational rent which you are getting, and depending upon the distance from the city you are getting more. राखी, अब तो मेरा विश्वास नहीं है. सर प्रॉफिट आपने तो ट्रांसपोर्ट कॉस्ट एंड डिस्टेंस लिखा है. मतलब यू आर द सेम पर्सन हु रोट दैट सेंटेंस एंड यू आर राइटिंग हियर आल्सो. सो आई डोंट नो व्हाट यू अंडरस्टैंड. एंड ऑफलाइन में तो वी डोंट इवन नो कि कौन क्या समझ रहा है. मैथमेटिकली स्पीकिंग, क्योंकि एक मैथमेटिकल आइडिया है, मैथमेटिकली स्पीकिंग इकोनॉमिक रेंट और लोकेशनल रेंट, रिकार्डो का लोकेशनल रेंट फॉर वन थिंग, economic rent, locational rent is equal to ym minus c minus ytd. जब when we are playing dumb, dumber and the dumbest, अगर आप अपने आंसर्स में ऐसे चल रहे हो dumb, dumber and dumbest कि सबसे डम आंसर मुझे देना है, तो एक कम से कम एग्जामिनर को just to keep him happy, at least you will be able to show something. Because अभी तक I was very surprised like कि after the class locational rent क्या होता है वो तो बता पाएंगे. तो locational rent is, कल को डायग्राम में बताया था, locational rent extra of a over b, ऐसा कुछ बताया था. बट अगर नहीं समझ में आया, और कई बार ये भी हो जाता है इसमें क्या ही समझा दो, ऐसा तो नहीं. तो मैथमेटिकली देखते हैं. Y stands for yield, yield of crop or agricultural production, whatever you are. You may be in animal husbandry also. M is the market price. C is the cost price. M is the market price, C is the cost price, T is the transport cost, and D is the distance traveled. So can't say why people said that locational rent is transport cost and distance. तो अगर मैं बताना चाहूँ कि what all does it depend upon? It depends on many things. It depends upon many things. But by definition, it is that extra profit which you are getting due to a favorable location. So I think I ended the class asking you a simple question that if you want to open a shop in a posh area, in a very big commercial area of your city, and in any other area, will there be a difference? Yes, sir, there will be a difference of rent. That extra rent is called locational rent. I think this is where I ended the class. But unfortunately, the two answers tell me ये class ही attend कर रहे हैं, class के अलावा नहीं कर रहे हो, class को पढ़ ही नहीं रहे, material भी था, थोड़ा सोच भी नहीं रहे. तो प्लीज कम आउट ऑफ दैट. और बाकी लोग जो क्लास को सिर्फ अटेंड कर रहे हो, कोर्स जब एंड पर आता है तो हाउ इज द जोश, तो जोश बड़ा होना चाहिए कि यार मुझे कुछ आ रहा है, तो वर्क ऑन दैट. अब एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं. लेट अस टेक एन एग्जांपल. सपोज दिस इज डेयरी इंडस्ट्री. Suppose this is dairy industry. Land use, what land use you want to put your land on? सो ये भी समझ में आना चाहिए, बहुत से लोगों को ये भी नहीं पता होगा कि थ्योरी क्या है। Montunal model is a land use model. Land use model. अब ये भी बता देना चाहता हूँ कि many of you don't even know land use. You don't even know, you are just doing it. Remember कल पूर्वी ने कहा सर अच्छा लग रहा है सब हमारे पास है. So we don't even know हम कर क्या रहे हैं. तो एक एग्रीकल्चरल फील्ड है, इसमें कहाँ पर एनिमल हस्बेंड्री होनी चाहिए, कहाँ पर क्रॉप एंड ग्रेन फार्मिंग, वेयर शुड बी क्रॉप एंड ग्रेन फार्मिंग, वेयर शुड बी इंटेंसिव फार्मिंग, वेयर शुड बी एक्सटेंसिव फार्मिंग, वेयर शुड बी पैस्चर्स, ये सारी चीजें क्या है, these are called land use. How to use agricultural land, how to use an agricultural land optimally, that is what we are talking about. And your decision will be guided by your locational rent of an activity. Higher the rent, you will choose to do that. If the rent is lower, you will choose not to do that. So ये होता है locational rent. उसके लिए पता होना चाहिए what is locational rent. तो locational rent is that extra profit that you are going to give. तो आपका decision profit पर होता है, ठीक है. Locational rent in itself is dependent on many factors, which are these. So अगर मैं dairy farm लेता हूँ and I have a yield is equal to 100 liters per acre. I've used my agricultural land for dairy farming. The yield is 100 liters per acre and the market price of milk, market price is rupees 10 per liter. Get that? Cost price is rupees 5 per liter. Cost price is rupees 5 per liter. Transport cost is equal to rupees 2 per kilometer. Yeah, per liter, per liter. Because remember, transport cost in this model, in our assumption is that the transport cost is uniform everywhere. It is a function of distance traveled and the amount transported. So amount का भी मैंने यहाँ पर लिख दिया. And D is what? Distance traveled. Distance कुछ भी हो सकता है depending upon how far you are going to do. So everyone is everything is all the variable given to you. सारे variables की value आगे numerical करेंगे, कर सकते हैं नहीं कर सकते, है ना. Distance you will decide कि कितना distance जाना है, 0 किलोमीटर, 1 किलोमीटर, 2 किलोमीटर, 3 किलोमीटर, that is that. तो एक ग्राफ बना रहा हूँ. Everyone, I have drawn a graph. ठीक है. You have to tell me. This is city center. This is A. This is B. This is C. And this is D. Is the formula with you? Formula तो आपके पास है ही. Using this formula, can you tell me in this numerical, what will be the land locational rent at CC? कितना होगा? Value डाल के बताइए. What will be the locational rent at CC? Quickly. City center. जल्दी से करेंगे. How do we solve it? Please check. Values आपको दी जा चुकी है. What is the locational rent at city center? The profit which you are going to get at city center. So answer is Y, yield is 100 into market price 10 minus 5 into yield, again 100 into T into D is 0. D is 0. Why 0? This is very important. At city center, D is 0. This whole thing goes 0. So 10 into 5, which is equal to 500. Is everyone okay? So how much is the locational rent? Suppose I make this 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 rupees. So is everyone okay with the locational rent at CC? True. What will be the locational rent at A? Everyone, locational rent at A. Let me compute. Locational rent at A will be 100 into 10 minus 5 into, sorry, not into, minus. यहाँ formula गलत लिखा, minus 100 into 2 into 1. So this will be 500 minus 200, which is equal to 300. So everyone, what should this be? 300. Can you please tell me the locational rent at B? Locational rent at B, everyone. 500 minus 400. This time it will become 100. Is everyone okay? True. What is locational rent at C? Locational rent at C. Minus 100. Minus 100. So everyone, is it wise to have dairy farming 3 kilometers away from the city center? Is it profitable? So I am trying to find the limit, mathematically the limit up to which I should do that. Yes or no? तो वो लिमिट कहां पर आएगी? जहां पर ये 0 हो जाएगा. So do you see, everyone, it will be 2.5 kilometers. If it is 2.5 kilometers, 2.5 kilometers पे 0 हो जाएगा नहीं? check locational rent at 2.5 kilometers. Will it become 0 or not? Everyone. LRA is equal to 300. LRB is equal to 100. LRC is equal to minus 100. And LR 2.5 kilometer is equal to 0. Is everyone with me on this? Can you see locational rent is going down? Can you connect it? Can I say this is the cutoff point? LR is greater than equal to 0. Farmer will not want to go for dairy farming beyond that. After this, dairy farming will become a loss-making business. What has decided? Everything has decided. The market price, the cost price, the transport, the distance. Mathematically, is everyone okay? Are we clear with this? True or not? So, ये है concept locational rent. It actually tells you land use is decided by maximizing locational rent. So where should actually out of the whole country or this whole agricultural region, where should one farmer decide to do dairying? Sir, at the city center. Is everyone or not? Everyone with me? City center. Even if it is costly, city center का land costly है, सब कुछ है, तो भी उसको dairying वही करनी चाहिए. True or not? Is everyone okay? And if he's going away, then what is happening? उसका profit कम होता जा रहा है. Now I cannot afford the land. Everyone on city center. I am at B. Everyone, I am at B, and I want to do dairy farming. Will my locational rent be less or not? True or not? Locational rent of CC over A. This is extra, no? Will my rent be less? Now I don't have an option. I know only this thing, only animal husbandry. So now if I start producing it, should I produce intensively a lot of milk, or should I produce extensively? Extensively is not put too much of inputs, minimize my inputs. So यहाँ पर क्या करना चाहिए मुझे? Intensive dairying or extensive dairying? My question is this: intensive or extensive? Which one should I do? First of all, I've decided a point, cutoff point. Is everyone okay with cutoff point? So this is the cutoff point up to which I'm going to do dairy farming. Should I do intensive or extensive if I am at point B? This is the circle. This is the radius up to which dairy farming is profitable. Should I do intensive or extensive? Quickly tell me. Apply your mind. Intensive or extensive? Extensive. Why extensive? So everyone, look at all these variables. Can you see distance is high? Distance is high. If you want to be profitable, you want this one to be high or not out of A and B? Because distance already is high. You want A to be bigger, no? For A to be bigger, everyone, what should we hire? A को बढ़ाना है, तो क्या करना चाहिए ज़्यादा? Because B will be subtracted from A. So what should I do? So everyone is saying, sir, increase your yield. So you people are not applying your mind. If you are asking me for yield, don't you see yield is the same parameter on both? जो यहाँ पे बढ़ाओगे वहाँ cancel हो जाएगी. Both A and B have yield or not? You're not applying your mind. You're not being simply logical. If you are looking at yield is in both the places. True or not? True or not? So which one is the market price? So everyone, which one is in the hand of the farmer? Market price or the cost price? Cost price. You cannot control the market price. तो आप क्या करेंगे? If you really want to do something, cut on your cost price. Now, which one is costly? Intensive or extensive? Which one is costly? Intensive or extensive? Which one is costly? Intensive or extensive? That shows that you haven't even read GC Leong. आपको intensive और extensive का मतलब ही नहीं पता. Intensive का मतलब एक ही land को 3-4 बार use करना. That is called agricultural intensity. वो कैसे use कर सकते हैं? You can use more only when you input a lot. You input fertilizers, you input everything, you input full care. So which one is costly? Intensive और extensive? Extensive में तो जो जैसा चल रहा है, एक बार निकल आया बहुत है. इंटेंसिव लगाओगे तो भाई सब कुछ लग जाएगा. अगर यहाँ पे डेयरिंग में है तो एनिमल फीड, एनिमल वैक्सीन, एनिमल मेडिसिन, एनिमल आर्टिफिशियल इंसेमिनेशन सब लगने वाला है. यहाँ एक्सटेंसिव लिख रहा हूँ. एक्सटेंसिव मतलब जो जानवर जैसे पल रहा है. To everyone, when you are away from the market, you should go for intensive or extensive. सोचो 1823 में a gentleman is able to think that much. 2023 में 200 साल बाद there is a group of graduates, some of them engineers and doctors, they are not able to think क्या चीज होगा. सिंपल न्यूमेरिकल है उधर. सबने कहा yield बढ़ाओ. yield बढ़ाएगा तो ट्रांसपोर्ट कॉस्ट से मल्टीप्लाई होकर पूरा मल्टीप्लायर इज द सेम. ये सुनो, yield तो कॉमन है ना, और कॉस्ट प्राइस करना है तो. सो Based on these principles, he gave the idea of intensity of cropping principle. He said that if you are looking at the profit, intensive cultivation का curve ये है. This is city center. This is A. And the curve of extensive cultivation is this. Is everyone okay? What is this? Intensive cultivation. Locational rent. Is everyone okay? So you know that with distance, locational rent comes down. Everyone knows that. If you are doing intensive cultivation, with distance, the curve will steeply come down because remember the yield is high. Transport cost उतना ही बढ़ जाएगा. तो curve जल्दी खत्म हो जाता है. Extensive cultivation में you would know that the output is less. Extensive में output कम आएगा ना. Output कम होगा तो profit ही कम हो जाएगा. तो can you see the curve itself starts from here? नीचे से start होता rather than ऊपर से. Yes, but it goes gradually क्योंकि आपका extensive है, it is here. Do you get that? So up to what point from the city center should a farmer go for intensive? Everyone, up to what point should the farmer go for intensive? And up to what point should he go for extensive? जल्दी से बताइए. Looking at it graphically. Intensive, give me a figure. समझ आ रहा है या नहीं आ रहा है? यहाँ पे सर्कल बनाया था ना, रेंज बनाया था, सर्कल बना था. क्यों सर्कल बना था? कट ऑफ पॉइंट है ना, मिल जाता है. Locational rent can tell you the radius up to which you are going to do that. Now I'm asking you, up to what point from the city center should the farmer go for intensive activities and up to what point should he go for extensive? जल्दी से बताइए. Quickly. हाँ, what is the point? तो आपके सामने दिख तो रहा है. वो तो मुझे भी पता कट ऑफ पॉइंट देवी थी. यहाँ पर तो वैल्यूज लिख दी. जल्दी से बताइए. ये तो बना लोगे, नोट्स तो बना लोगे. विल बी हैप्पी ऑल्सो. तो मौका मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा मीन्स लिखने का, वो बात की बात है. बट एटलीस्ट यहाँ पर क्लास में अंडरस्टैंडिंग तो हो. स्टूडेंट्स ने सब रट रखा है बट दे डोंट नो what this is about. So what is von Thunen telling us? He's telling us on a piece of land from the city center, up to what point should you go intensive and up to what point should you go extensive? Quickly, I'm waiting for your answer. If your computers have not got hanged. Up to A intensive, up to B. अगर up to B extensive करोगी पूर्वी तो कहाँ से? पूरा का पूरा extensive हो जाएगा. फिर तो intensive कहाँ करोगी पूर्वी? अगर up to B extensive करोगी तो intensive कहाँ करोगी? खेत में कुछ एरिया तो intensive भी होगा ना. Some part will be intensive, some part will be extensive. जब छोटा बच्चा होता है उसको दिखाते हैं लीनियर इक्वेशन इन वन वेरिएबल, वो x समझ में आता है. हाँ, ये कितना सही बताया. तो यहाँ तक जो है आप डेरिंग कर सकते हैं. वेरी गुड सर. अभी क्या कर दिया? दो वेरिएबल डाल दिया तो सब लोगों के होश उड़ गए, x एंड y. So बहुत से लोगों को तो समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है. Many people are not even able to understand. So that's a very sad thing. Two things आते ही हो जाता है and then we are talking about topping this examination. Forget it, that will not happen. Get that? Many people are saying, sir, up to from CC to A, this is a good radius. Up to this is going to be profitable. So, sir, in the farm, this much should be intensive. This much should be intensive, yes. And in the next ring outside, this much should be extensive. Very beautifully, geometrically, we got the answer. Up to what point it is going to be intensive, up to what point it is going to be extensive. So, intensity principle says, close to city center, intensive cultivation. As the distance increases, intensive will be replaced by extensive. So this is the intensity principle, cropping intensity principle. ये आना चाहिए था. So many people who could not see this, उसका काम क्या? He's talking about an agricultural land. He's telling you how to use it. And he says, if your city center के पास हो तो you make it. Graph मैंने बना दिया. Graph is a 3D thing. Now comes the error. In this. Error is that intensive farming will not be up to A. Why not? Because after this point, which is X, suppose this point is X. After point X, this graph is higher. This is profitable. Before this is profitable. Remember, land rent is what? Profit, no? So will it be A or the intersection of the two curves? Will it be A or the intersection of the two curves? Think about it. So that is the error. At least some people understood up to A. वो लोग बहुत अच्छा काम कर गए, जो बाकी लोग सिर्फ नोट्स बनाने हैं, the people who are just collecting notes can't do much. So this is the belt of intensive, this is the belt of extensive. Did you understand the importance of intersection also? This is where quantitative revolution uses geographical solutions. Okay, so that was his promise. That was the promise of von Thunen, that I will give you a model which will tell you what will be the land use. Has he given us the intensity of land use principle? Who will decide that? Distance from the city center. How would we get that? We will plot the two graphs of the locational rent and see up to what point is intensive profitable, up to what point is extensive profitable, and then we will get our curve. Everyone with me on this? Intensity principle. Let's look at the second one, crop type principle. Which crop should he grow? Everyone, should I grow food grains or dairy product? What should I grow? Food grains or dairy product? Food grains or dairy product? Food grains, fruit or dairy product? The Saurabh is saying that perishable is near city center. Okay, dairy product. Purvi is carrying depending upon location. Why depending on location? वही तो मैं पूछ रहा हूँ, पूर्वी किस लोकेशन पे क्या ग्रो करूँ, किस लोकेशन पे क्या ग्रो करूँ. So everyone, did you not understand? Did you not understand till now? You're talking funny things. Did you not understand that this is the answer? Depending upon the locational rent of a commodity. If a crop gives you more locational rent, you grow that. If dairy gives you more locational rent, grow that. Whichever makes you give more rent, वो करो, grow. क्या दिक्कत है? True or not? Farmer is an economic man. He is looking at profit. Why are you talking about fertility? द्विवेदी ने देखो, मतलब nothing doing. हमने assumptions में ले लिया कि land is uniform fertility. Only for that fellow we did that. Ricardo में that is fertility valid. अभी तक fertility लेकर आया. आपको पता चल रहा है what I am talking about? भाई मुझे भी तो feedback मिलना चाहिए. Does any of you sitting in the class know that I am talking about a gentleman who is going to give us a model? He is going to tell us which crop is to be preferred, and his only principle is locational rent. Wherever you get more rent, so fertility or transport, क्यों लेकर आ रहे हो यार? ट्रांसपोर्ट तो हर जगह लगता है. So that clearly tells me कुछ समझ आ नहीं रहा है. तो क्लास बंद कर दें, पढ़ लो अपने आप, फिर क्लास कर लें. That is there. Fertility. I don't understand what makes someone bring fertility. इतना मेहनत करके बताया कि fertility is constant. कल भी बताया, लिखवाया भी है. क्यों लिखवा दिया था? Agricultural area is uniform in which soil fertility, climate don't vary. Check कर लो. True or not? I'm saying बस पढ़े जा रहे हैं, कुछ मतलब नहीं. What education is bringing us? What do we understand? Locational rent पूछा तो कोई बता रहा है सर ट्रांसपोर्ट होता है, ये होता है. अरे भाई एक्स्ट्रा प्रॉफिट. फार्मर इज इनटू प्रॉफिट. न्यूमेरिकल भी करा दिया, उसके बाद भी गोल है. उसके बाद ट्राई ये सर्कल बना दिया तो भी गोल है. दो को कर दिया इंटेंसिटी, एक्सटेंसिव. क्रॉप को करना है. फिर से लैंड लिया, लैंड के सेंटर में ग्राफ बना देना. सिटी सेंटर, एक क्रॉप का कर्व ऐसा है. वन क्रॉप कर्व इज लाइक दिस, अदर क्रॉप कर्व इज लाइक दिस, and the third crop curve is like this. Don't even know what the crop is. So this is the profit or the locational rent. This crop gives the maximum. Every crop gives the maximum locational rent at city center. True or not? Every crop gives the maximum revenue at city center, and it drops. Why does it drop? I hope you understand. Nothing to do with fertility. LR is equal to YM minus C minus YTD. So market price, cost price, transport, distance. Mostly transport cost and the distance does that. True or not? A, B, C. So up to what point do I grow this? Intersection निकाल लो. See, up to this point. इसका intersection. Up to this point, the black curve is on top. After this, which curve is on top? The blue curve is on top. And after this, the green curve is on top. So what are the circles? One is this. Black crop should be in this belt. When we're talking about the blue one, the blue crop should be in this belt. Outside this should be what? The green crop. Simple. 3 crop हो गए. Now which crop is costly? If I ask you cabbage and broccoli, गोभी और ब्रोकली में कौन सा ज्यादा है? So broccoli आता है. You will find that mostly डेयरी प्रोडक्ट्स, मिल्क ज्यादा कॉस्टली होता है, मिल्क विल बी हाई एंड मिल्क नीचे चला जाता है. Milk has high market price. True or not? Another thing that goes in favor of milk is perishability. Milk and perishability. Do we get that? What do I mean by perishability? Suppose, remember what is my mode of transport? What is my mode of transport? Horse and cart. It will go slowly. And if the dairy farm is at sea, and if it takes 1 or 2 days to reach the city center, will my milk go bad or not? Yes or no? It will get spoiled. Similarly goes for fresh fruits and vegetables. Will they be costly or not? Fresh fruits and vegetables, strawberry hai, mushrooms hai, yes or no? All those things. What is the second curve? Second curve can potato. True. Potato के दाम कम होते हैं, कम होते हैं नहीं होते, थोड़ा दूर भी ग्रो कर सकते हैं. True. And remember, city center, the cost of the land is also very high. So we need high market price. Why? To counter high cost of land. Yes or no? Production. My cost price is high, no? Cost price of milk, cost price of strawberry, mushroom, is it high or not? And cost price of potato production? Relatively less. True or not? और ये क्या है? Grains, rice, wheat. अगर सिटी सेंटर में राइस और व्हीट किया तो उसका क्विंटल का रेट तो बहुत कम चल रहा है नहीं. And does it require a lot of land? Does it require a lot of land? Would you want to give the precious city center land to grains? Yes, they will also give the maximum profit at this. But can you see this graph is so gentle, so gentle. कि ज्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, यहाँ भी कर सकते हैं. Can we see competitive use of land? Competitive use of land. इसमें मिल्क आ गया, इसमें पोटैटो आ गया और इसमें ग्रेन आ गया. So his model is that if you want to use land use, then you will get concentric circles. So ये तो intensity of cropping है, ये क्या हो गया? Crop type principle. Get that? High market price and perishable commodities close to city center. Low market price, bulky commodity. Yes, low market price, bulky commodity. What do? Away from market or city center. Is everyone okay? Bulky कह दो, what should I say? Long shelf life. So your crop will be decided. Fresh fruits, vegetable and dairy कहाँ पर होना चाहिए? Close to the market. Did you understand the principle or not? तो ये principle है locational rent का. Using locational rent, he says, keeping locational rent as the basis, you can decide, you can take your decision about the intensity of the cropping, what is the intensity that you want to keep, as well as the second thing which we are talking about, which crop you are going to grow. Everyone clear on this? If any questions, please ask. Clear तो आप कुछ भी बोल देते हो. I asked you any doubts, कोई doubt भी नहीं है. When I ask you doubt, you don't have doubts. When I ask you simple question, what is locational rent, you don't know that. When I ask you to apply that simple, that is also not there. Did we understand the intersection? Are you drawing this also or not? And the worst part is I have no issues, whenever you're writing the examination, most of you may not be writing the examination this prelim. So after 1 year, when you have not seen anything, फिर से देखोगे तो यार याद ही नहीं आएगा, what did Sachin sir tell me? So how were these circles made? Then you will try to mug it up. But once when you're watching and talking to me, you know अच्छा ऐसे बना है. Once you have the clarity, simple. So up to what point? Up to that city center. Potato will come from in the second one. This one is the potato one. This one is the food grain one. True. So please apply. It is not that you have the right answers or not. Smart student and students who are really learning well are the ones who have the smart questions. They are able to think कि क्या problem होने वाली questions होने चाहिए आपके दिमाग में, वो नहीं है और आप मजे से एक मॉडल दूसरा मॉडल करते जा रहे हो. So it won't work. So crop type and land use principle, we have done that also. Now let us look at his final model. Okay, that 7 ring model. So I want everyone a fresh page. वो मुझे सोचना पड़ता है, पहले मैं कर देता हूँ कि भैया पूछ लेता हूँ. Turn it around on this side we will write. On this side we will write. And here we are going to make some rings. So what are the rings we will make? First write down based on his principles, and consideration of locational rent. Von Thunen proposed his agricultural land use model having 7 concentric rings around the city center, suggesting different land use. Suggesting different land use. So now I'm going to make 7 rings. Everyone, please pay attention. इसमें 7 rings का circle बनने हैं. 1 is the city center. ये तो city center. इसके चारों तरफ ring बनाएंगे. Ring number 1. Ring 2. Ring 3. I'm drawing freehand. You also draw freehand. Ring 4. Ring 5. Ring 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 7 rings. This is city center. Everyone, did you make that? और यहीं पर हमें इसे labeling भी करना भी. Everyone, do you know how he got the rings? Everyone, do you know how he got the rings? How did he get the rings? Using the locational rent, maximizing locational rent, graphical method. Everyone okay? So graphical method से उनके पास ये rings आए हैं. तो ring में क्या होना चाहिए? So everyone, I'm going to shade them. Please use my shading. I've already predetermined that shading. That will help you. Vertical lines used for shading. Slanting lines used for shading. Dots used for shading. Rather than dots, let's use crosses. So first ring is this. Second ring and third ring. First ring goes like this. Second ring goes like this. Third ring goes like crosses. So what is first ring? This is called market gardening. Second ring is wood production. Third ring is intensive cropping. Are the 3 rings done? This is if you have a city and you are using it. First, use for market gardens. First ring में market garden. Remember market garden में क्या होता है? Perishable commodities and everything is going to come. Second is wood production. Third is intensive cropping. उसके बाद, let me further go for my shading. Here are dots. See that? And here are. After this, I have 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. That 5 rings done. 6th ring, I'm going like this. What are these? I will explain also, don't worry. So after intensive, I go for extensive. Can you see the distance is increasing? So I'll go for extensive cropping. Then I have, after extensive, I have this 3 and then this 3, 3. This stands for 3 field system. 3 field system. Cattle, agriculture and fallow. After that I have this one. What does it mean? This means extensive cattle grazing. And last one, this one is called uncultivated wilderness. So quickly draw this, everyone. This is what the model is about, and then we will talk about the rings one by one. Quickly. Everyone, are we done? It is not just that Chris Kahler was able to do amazing things in settlements. Can you see through his studies, von Thunen has given ideally how a person should reach or should use the agricultural land. The perishable things, the costly things towards the center. Costly things towards the center. Intensive things close to the city center. Can you see extensive things close to or away from the city center? What is three field system? अब नहीं होता है, उस टाइम हुआ करता था. You divide your land into three parts. One part you do agriculture, grain farming, but in the other part leave it fallow, natural this thing, ability to regenerate. Yes or no? और एक में क्या cattle grazing करो. After that comes the ring number 6. Ring number 6 is extensive cattle grazing. So why we are doing cattle grazing? The meat product is all perishable, no? So पहली बात तो extensive करने से क्या होता है? My cost goes down. So वो तो dairying में चला गया. Market gardening में dairy and meat has gone into that. Extensive cattle grazing is for those animal products which are non-perishable, like wool. Do you understand? So that is that. Or uncultivated wilderness, he says there will be a point after which any kind of agriculture may not be remunerative. तो उसमें आपको profit होगा ही नहीं. तो वहाँ पे करना चाहिए agriculture. Should we invest? So he says we should not invest. Is everyone okay? Now comes the big question. The big question, I don't know how many of you noted or not. What is the second ring, everyone? What is the second ring? This is ring 1, this is ring 2, this is ring 3. Wood production. A jungle close to the forest or close to the city center. This is, when I'm saying wood production, it means silviculture. So should we give that precious land which is close to the city center? I hope you realize the importance of it. Should we grow wood over there? Udhar forest laga diya hai. Why not go for intensive? So I want to tell you, it is still intensive. It is still very intensive. It is intensive wood production. Now, we are talking of that time when there was only means of transport was cart and the horse. We are talking of Europe, and I told you, Rostock is at the Baltic, and I have seen the European winters. काफी खतरनाक winters होती है. So what is going to help them survive, and which you saw was the problem with Russia also, the supply of gas, heating requirement. At that time there was no gas, so the only thing that would give them heating is burning of wood. Do you understand? Wood is to be burned to keep them warm. But the fact is, wood is a very, very bulky, voluminous cargo. Yes or no? If you grow it far away, will it take a lot of time to come? Number one. Second is, you can't do without it, so that much you will have to invest always in transporting wood. So would you want to keep the wood close to the city center, away from the city center? Remember Weber's locational model, it is like weight losing industry. When weight losing industry is there, so what happens? It goes to the raw material. So here what we are looking at is that the city center will have very close to it wood that is there because of the old times when wood was used for heating purposes. Is everyone okay? Today, when we are talking of the contemporary relevance or application of von Thunen, can you clearly see that this will be rejected? Second ring will be rejected. So that is something which does not apply today. Another thing that will be rejected is the ring number 5. What is ring number 5? Cattle agriculture fallow. So आपको 3 field system नहीं होता है. We don't have 3 field system. Is everyone with me? Third thing, everything is keeping in mind what? Transport cost. Everything is keeping in mind what? Transport cost. Yes or no? But now the transport cost is just one of the variables. With the coming of biotechnology and quicker, cheaper modes of transport, would you want to do bulk production even away from the city center? True or not? पहले था कि bulk production जितना city के पास रखोगे, yield जितना city के पास होगा. You keep the high yielding things only close to it because it will make you travel, incur the cost of transport. But now you want the yield. Yes or no? In fact, today, have you heard of something called as contract farming? Where the corporates are reaching out to the farmers and telling them, produce this for us. PepsiCo going and saying, produce potatoes for my chips. They are looking more at quality. Yes or no? They are looking more at quality. I want those high quality chips and this volume I will procure from you. Is the farmer worried about transport today? Everyone. Is the farmer worried about transport? No, he's not worried about transport today. He is more interested in marketability through the buyer coming directly to the farmer. So have things changed or not? Do we agree? Isolated economy, only one marketplace and all the hinterland has only one marketplace. Now tell me, do you know MSP in Madhya Pradesh is higher support? So from other states, farmer will try to reach that. Have you heard of ENAM market? Have you heard of ENAM? E-market for agricultural productivity. So it says that wherever you get higher price, farmer can go and sell it. Yes or no? And can we export it also? We can export it wherever we are getting higher price. We will do that. But in this, what is the closed economy? Only the city center is the sole consumer and the hinterland is the sole provider. I am doing an analysis before I get into this. Everyone, do we get that? So analysis to my material mein bhi hoga. Yes or no? Farmer is rational economic man. Farmer knows what is the need. Tell me कितनी बार ऐसा होता है farmer makes a mistake. Everybody was growing tomatoes only. सबने टमाटो ग्रो कर दिया. लहसुन का बम्पर क्रॉप हो गया. Yes. और इस बार किसकी कमी होगी? नींबू की कमी होगी. लेमन का शॉर्टेज हो गया. True or not? So does farmer know what will happen? Which commodity will go high in price? Does the farmer know? No, he doesn't know. Does farmer, and depending on the farmer, will the behavior of all farmers be same? Risk taking of all farmers will be same, or will it change from small farmer, medium to a large farmer? Will it change or not? It will change. The unrealistic assumption that fertility is same everywhere. Even if fertility is same, think about it. Marathwada, Vidarbha range shadow areas. Get that? Compare Karnataka Plateau. Karnataka Plateau is red soil because it is a shield, but Deccan Lava Plateau is black soil. Does the fertility change over there? Change होगा नहीं होगा? बहुत सारी चीजें होंगी. अच्छा, government in India promoted green revolution. Government brought a high yielding variety mission. Does he anywhere incorporate the role of government? कुछ भी government का है. Government की MSP policy इसमें दिखाई देती है. Subsidies to a particular crop दिखाई देती है. नहीं दिखाई देती. True. Can I say in a capitalistic system they were never thinking that the government will come to their help? They have to do it on their own. In 1823 यार, 1823 में और आज में बहुत फर्क है. फर्क है कि accessibility and everything. But even for 1823, was he not thinking ahead of times? Was he really able to think marketability, which our farmer, so much so, you students can't even think? So should he be given the credit or not? Is everyone okay with the idea of von Thunen's theory? The magic that lies in it? Get that? So let us write about the links. ये जो आपको handout दिया गया ना, the handout which is given on von Thunen does not have this diagram. Can you see this? Von Thunen model पे खत्म हो जाएगा. That is why classes are important, and every class will have a discussion on that. These zones are written. Can you see zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4? They are written. What is zone 1? Production of fresh milk and vegetable. What is zone 2? Production of wood, bulky commodity. What is zone 3? Intensive. Rye was an important market product. I hope you can understand. These are Rabi regions, cold region. तो यहाँ पर क्या होता है? Rye, barley. Yes, ये यहाँ के हैं. हमारे यहाँ पर क्या होता है? Rice and wheat. We have rice and wheat. इनके यहाँ पर क्या होता है? Rye and barley. So, but as the distance, so intensity decreases, and there is no fallowing in this. No fallow. कोई भी land छोड़ना नहीं है. I hope you can understand. Intensive cultivation का मतलब ये है extracting the maximum out of the same land. Is everyone okay? That is what intensive cultivation is about. आपको maximum उसमें से extract करना है. तो कैसे करेंगे? कुछ fallow छोड़ेंगे? Will you leave any land fallow? Intensive? No. But if you don't leave it fallow, then will it not lose its fertility? Yes, it will, sir. But we are intensive, no? We will add irrigation from outside. We will add fertilizer from outside. So nutrition balance हम करेंगे. Don't worry. वो तो एक्सटेंसिव में होता है कि भाई आप न्यूट्रिशन की चिंता नहीं कर रहे हो, जो नेचर ने दे दिया वो जीरो वेस्ट नेचुरल फार्मिंग. इज एवरीवन ओके? सो दैट इज व्हाट आई वांटेड एवरीवन टू सी. जोन 4 में क्या आ गया? जल्दी से बताओ अपने सर्कल में. लेस इंटेंसिव, नो? फार्मर्स यूज 7 year crop rotation. There was 1 year of rye, 1 year of barley, 1 year of oat, 3 for pastures and 1 for fallow. 7-year cycle. Can you see that? So rye, barley and oat ये तो करेंगे. So 1 for rye, 1 for barley, 1 for oat. Get that? 1 year. So they are not interested. They are not interested in growing the maximum, all 3 in one season, twice in one season, or twice in 1 year. They are saying एक year सिर्फ rye करो. Rye will take some nutrients and give something back. After that, what you are doing? Barley 1 year, oats 1 year. So what is happening? Crop rotation is happening. Crop rotation will allow for natural increase in the productivity. Yes. उसके बाद 3 साल सिर्फ pastures, no cropping, only pastures, and then 1 year fallow also. Everyone, can you see? We are not intensive. Do you understand the difference between intensive and non-intensive? Zone 5 में क्या था? Special 3 field system. तो 3 field में अगर आपके field है तो उसको 3 parts में divide कर दिया. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Get it? This was a rotation system with 1/3 of the land was used for crop, 1/3 for pastures, and 1/3 fallow. Is everyone okay? So 7-year crop rotation भी समझ में आ गया, वो भी extensive है. 3 field is another extensive one. And zone 6 में you bring in livestock once again. Because of the distance from the market, rye did not produce so high rent. Why rye will not produce so high rent? Because rye तो बहुत ज्यादा है, rye बहुत ज्यादा है, उसको ट्रांसपोर्ट करने में बल्क में वो लगेगा. तो आप क्या प्रोड्यूस करते हैं? बटर, चीज एंड लाइव एनिमल्स. तो बटर एंड चीज तो खराब हो जाएंगे. अब बताइए, बटर खराब होता है, मिल्क खराब होता है इजीली. आपके घर में घी पड़ा है ना, घी एट होम, देसी घी, वो तो खराब नहीं हो रहा है. सो बाय दैट आई मीन दैट, बाय चीज आई मीन दैट लॉन्ग लास्टिंग चीज जो खराब नहीं होता. ठीक है, सॉलिड चीज. पनीर नहीं है, पनीर तो उधर चला गया. ऑल द पीपल, द पनीर लवर्स इन इंडिया, हर चीज में जो वेज है वो बेचारा चिकन का अल्टरनेटिव पनीर खा रहा है. पनीर इज पेरिशेबल, मिल्क इज पेरिशेबल, बट देसी घी, क्लैरिफाइड बटर इज नॉट पेरिशेबल. चीज वो वाला जो प्रोसेस्ड चीज जो आप खाते हैं, जो पड़ा रहता है, दैट इज एवरीवन ओके? In many of the underdeveloped and developed countries of the world, in both the villages and town, cropping belts are found. Great plains of India, इंडिया में भी ऐसा मिलता है. इंडिया में सातों लिंक तो नहीं है, बट इंडिया में सपोज दिस इज रिवर, कौन सी? भागीरथी नहीं है, कौन सी रिवर है? हुगली रिवर, कोलकाता में जाती है. तो वेस्ट बंगाल के जो विलेजेस हैं, दे शो इंटेंसिव फार्मिंग क्लोज टू इट एंड एक्सटेंसिव फार्मिंग अवे फ्रॉम इट. मेक सेंस एवरीवन? ये तो आप भी मानते हैं. और हमारे यहाँ सॉइल का नाम होता है, कौन सा सॉइल होता है? खादर, बांगर. किसमें इंटेंसिव करनी चाहिए? खादर में करो, रिटर्न्स भी आएंगे. बांगर में क्या है? बांगर इज जनरली नॉट दैट फर्टाइल. सो दैट इज व्हाट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट. इज एवरीवन विद मी? एनी क्वेश्चंस प्लीज आस्क. इवैल्यूएशन भी समझ में आ गया. व्हाट इज एवरी रिंग, ये भी समझ में आ गया. थोड़ा रिंग का फिर भी लिखवा देता हूँ. रिंग्स ऑफ पॉन्थियन. Ring 1, market gardening. Very important is he proposed 1% of total area of isolated state. तो एरिया भी बताया, how much? Just 1%. 1%. अभी everyone, can you see ये जो हमने बनाया अभी, the rings which I have made, right? Not to scale, because this is only 1%. This is only 1%. This is only 3% of the total area. This also is 3% of the total area. Do you get that? This is 30%. This is around 30%. So imagine this was only 7%, फिर 30% आता है, फिर ये 30% आएगा. Do you get that? So अभी तो all rings look the same. All rings look the same. So only 1%, 7, 30, and then you have 30, 30 more. So that can be there. Is everyone okay? 97 done. और ये कुछ जो भी बचेगा that goes into this. Please write down this area or this ring produces agricultural commodities to meet the daily needs of the city. Dairy, horticulture, floriculture, olericulture. So remember market gardening, suitcase farmer. Market gardening UK में हो रही है. So generally wherever you have the city center, there should be this thing. Do we agree ऐसा हो रहा है अभी भी cities में? And more so during the lockdown, you would have seen people going for so many urban farming, urban gardening. अपना kitchen garden बना लिया, rooftop garden बना लिया, उसमें अपनी चीजें grow कर रहे हैं. Hydroponics पे भी आपने बात सुनी होगी. So that's what we're talking about. Ring 2. What does it have? Forestry and silviculture. 3% of total area. Get it? Wood, essential as fuel, bulky commodity to transport. Market gardening, forestry and silviculture. Are we done? Ring 3, intensive farming. इंटेंसिव फार्मिंग। अभी हमने इसको क्या नाम दिया था लिंक को? इंटेंसिव क्रॉपिंग, ग्रेन फार्मिंग, राई, बाले, oat with no fallow. We want the maximum output to come, city पे भी जाएगा, least distance to transport, 3% of total area. ठीक है? Is everyone okay? Evaluation, significance, contemporary application, contemporary. Discussed in class. Sir, वो कहाँ किया? अभी तो कर रहा था. Everything I told you. Those two links are not there. Things have changed now. The utility of energy, wood has been replaced. Transport cost is not that important. Yes, agriculture, contract farming coming in, high yielding varieties, the way we are looking at soil, the governments, globalization, all those things. Sir, वो लिखवा देते. Record हो चुका है. Before this, did I talk about that when the rings were there? Do we get that? One point I said talked about this. I said before I go into this, वो पहले ही बता देता हूँ कि ये सारा क्वांटिटेटिव मॉडल है, those assumptions पे नहीं है. फार्मर इज नेवर अ रैशनल इकोनॉमिक मैन. फार्मर गोज बाय हिज ओन लाइकिंग्स. yes or no, ट्रेडिशनल फार्मर है एंड डेवलपिंग वर्ल्ड में फार्मर का डिसीजन बाकी इनपुट्स नहीं होते हैं. एट टाइम्स इरिगेशन कैन बी अ ह्यूज प्रॉब्लम लाइक मराठवाड़ा, विदर्भ. सो यू कैन नॉट हैव ऑल द फ्रीडम दैट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट. थ्री फील्ड सिस्टम इज नो लॉन्गर देयर. Extensive cattle grazing. We are looking at areas in Africa because of desertification. Because of desertification, there is not much pasture left. Yes or no? Whatever was semi-arid, जहाँ pastures होते थे वो भी चला गया. True or not? The situation, the socio-cultural preferences of that place not seen. अब हर घर में गिलोय लगाया जा रहा है कि नहीं लगाया जा रहा है? पहले तुलसी हो रहा था, आजकल गिलोय चल रहा है. I don't know monkey pox के बाद ये क्या लगाने वाले बाबा. True. So that's what we are talking about. I have brought in a lot of dimensions, use them, and at the end of the day, we can say that this is all positivism, model making only. But then the fact is, in reality, a deductive theory will not apply in all times. As the time changes, everything changes. True or not? And today, when we are talking of land use, why are we talking only of agriculture? We should also be looking at agro-based industry, agriculture diversification coming in here. True or not? If you remember, Whittle says regions in the world. He even used constructors. एक बहुत important point है जो आप यहाँ पे डाल सकते हैं. Perishable commodities must go close to the city center. This logic does not apply today. True or not? With the development of cold storages, and cold transport chains, it is possible to do that. It is more to see the demand and supply, and at times demand and supply bottlenecks like the one that happened post-COVID, logistic shortage, where countries have taken a very close stand, like Indonesia saying that we will not export this thing. True or not? That has also changed things. So ये isolated economy is nowhere there. We live in a globalized market and things are changing on that. So that is there. तो ऐसा वो तभी questions आ गए थे. ऐसा नहीं है कि आज क्वेश्चंस आए थे. When Monthunan had given that, people had questioned him on all this then and there itself. तो Monthunan ने कुछ modifications दिए. Modifications to Monthunan. तो fresh page लेंगे everyone. Fresh page. Modifications to Monthunan. We'll keep it like this only for some time. Modifications. What are the modifications to this thing? Number one is presence of a transport artery. Presence of a transport artery creates a deviation from the concentric circle model. How? So either we will write, either we will draw. So please write down. The ideal concentric ring model. Ideal concentric ring model gets distorted. If an arterial transport route gets distorted if an arterial transport route passes through the city center. The distortion or deviation from the original land use is seen maximum in the belt number 2 ring 2, where the forestry belt is shifted along the transport artery, away from city center in bracket. Second, transport arteries also cause the concentric circles to get elongated along transport arteries. Everyone in this? So what is this? This is a city. Oh, sorry, this is a river, and this is the city center. Is everyone okay with the city center? So बताइए कितने लोग ऐसे हैं जिनका शहर में से, सिटी में से ऐसे रिवर फ्लो कर रही? Delhi is one. Trivedi says sir, मेरे लिए गंगा है. Ganga through my town, perfect. Everyone okay? So you have a river and so he says उसमें क्या होता है? If this is the city center, your ring number one gets elongated. Ring number one. So anything when you have a transport artery, it can be a river, it can be a road also. Why is it getting deviated? Why? Because ease of transport, no? So if you come along that, remember ribbon settlement? Now what is the second ring about? So market gardening is happening, no doubt about that, on the city. What is the second point? Second point is silviculture. So they say that the second ring shifts upstreams. Why should I take the precious land of this thing? यहाँ पर हम क्या करेंगे? हमारे जो पेड़ हैं, we will chop them off. In Europe, I hope you know that Europe has more coniferous temperate forest. They will be chopped and put into the river. So can I say shifted upstreams? When I have a dedicated transport artery, so I can afford to remove the wood part away from it. True. And if it is waterway, have to remember the transport cost is the least. Transport cost for bulk commodities. So that is that. After this, what will I have? After this, life is easy. After this, I have ring number 3, ring number 4, ring number 5, 6, and after that, uncultivated wilderness. So instead of the concentric one, what has it become? ऐसे पान का पत्ता बन गया है कि नहीं? So अगर बुक से पढ़ेंगे तो बुक में ऐसे समझ नहीं आता. This is very easy. This is easy. And remember, uncultivated wilderness is there. This is how you are operating. Quickly complete the diagram. If you have a question, ask. If people are happy, है तो सुंदर बनना है. एग्जाम में बनाना है. Are we done? First modification, presence of a transport artery. This can be a road, river, etc. Done? Okay. Now let us go into second modification. Again the same thing. Turn your notebook around this time. This time turn your notebook around. Competing market center. Competing market center. So remember, we assume that there is always how many market? Only one market in the real world. In the real world, unlike the isolated state, there are always multiple markets demanding agriculture products. Yes, sir. So this modification allows for competing market centers to be present in the agricultural landscape. So how is it? We will look at that also. Let's make this transport artery. Already know we have talked about that modification, and let us make this also. With me on this? What are these transport arteries? What are these city centers? Possible 3 cities connected to each other, or city centers between a city itself. So first of all, how many rings are there? How many rings are there? 7 rings. Yes, sir? 7 rings. How many rings are intensive? How many rings are intensive? First 3. First 3. If you have a transport artery, can your ring 2 be shifted? I'm assuming that I'm not shifting the ring 2. Is everyone with me? Clear? Yeah, everyone? Now, I'm going to make some rings. Please pay attention. What does this thing do? The presence of a transport artery. It elongates everything and takes away the ring number 2. Takes away the ring number 2. Yes or no? True. I'm taking the elongation part and I'm still holding the ring number 2. I'm still holding the ring number 2. कि वो अभी भी यहीं पर. Pay attention. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and if it is no transport artery circular, 1, 2, 3. Is everyone okay? The distortion in the first ring will be like this. First ring, please don't draw. Please don't draw. Everyone just have a look and then you will draw. Otherwise, mistake हो जाएगा. First ring done. Everyone, let's go to the second ring. Second ring भी वैसे ही रहेगा. And I said second ring, I'm accepting that it is here. Second ring, and then I have a third ring. ऐसे spider web याद आ रहा है? फील आना चाहिए क्लास में. True. So every competing center will have its own 3 rings. सबके पास 3 rings हो गए. The 3 rings will always be unique and special to a center. Everyone, please don't draw. I'll give you time to draw after this. 3 rings done. Let us look at what are the rings. I'm marking also 1, 2, 3. After this, everyone pay attention. The rings become common. So what do you mean by common? Let me draw one for you. Please pay attention. This, this, this. This is ring number 4. We'll have 5. What will ring 5 look like? And when we see in the book, we are wondering, यार ये बनेगा कैसे? 6. Last is 7. Now you can draw it, everyone. So always remember, first 3 are common and rest this is there. So this is the modified model with its 7 rings. I have not removed the woods from this. Everyone okay? Competing centers have been created for you. This is what we are talking about. Quickly draw this. Are we done, everyone? The colorful drawing, if you have done it, and I hope you are also appreciating one thing. मैंने तो बहुत किया कि नहीं किया? क्वेश्चन मार्क्स डालने हो तो क्या डालेंगे? आइसोलेटेड स्टेट doesn't exist. Assumptions of a normative theory unrealistic. Yes. Agriculture, highly dynamic activity. Therefore, temporal relevance in contemporary times is not possible without deviations. True or not? Agri economies, globalization, technology, market mechanisms have altered considerably. True or not? इसमें मैंने कहा ENAM, WTO, मंडी सिस्टम, contract farming, etc. These are some question mark part. Though whatever I said, that is there. But ये question mark हमें रखने चाहिए. Farmers, not rational decision makers. So that cannot be expected to be there. Is everyone okay? So the model does not apply. Model does not apply to the real world in its original sense. In its original form. Olaf Johansson tried to apply a modified von Thunen model for agri land use in Europe. 1925. Yes. This work was later modified by Wolkenberg in 1952, showing European or Western European map to represent first three concentric rings. First three concentric rings यूरोप में दिखाई देते, centered around North France, Netherlands, Belgium and Southeast England. तो वर्ल्ड में जब एप्लीकेशन की बात करते हैं तो एक जगह पे लगाया गया. फर्स्ट थ्री रिंग्स आर देयर. सिमिलरली वी सॉ इन इंडियन विलेजेस आल्सो, as I told you, in intensive and extensive. Is everyone okay with this? ठीक है, digest this. Let's have a break of 7 minutes. चलेगा? फिर we will go into political geography. If you have questions, I will take that also. 13:23 हो रहा है, 13:30 तक. Let's have a break. Is everyone okay? फिर जाएंगे बाउंड्रीज एंड फ्रंटियर्स में. ये आपने लिख लिया है, ब्रेक में सोच भी लीजिए. इफ यू वांट टू आस्क एनी क्वेश्चंस देन वी विल टॉक अबाउट बाउंड्रीज एंड फ्रंटियर्स. ओके, इन लोगों को ये समझ में नहीं आया है ये क्या किया इन्होंने, मैं आपको ऐसे ही बता देता हूँ. Is everyone okay? They found that this region, northern France, Belgium, Netherlands, this is what city center. Is everyone okay? City center. इसके आसपास क्या हो रहा है? Everyone, what is happening? Market gardening. Have you heard of Denmark for dairy? UK, France, that is happening, and even Germany, northern Germany. So what is this? First ring. Ring number 1. So they have applied it on continental scale. 1 Thunen on continent scale. Can you see that? अच्छा, यहाँ पर क्या होता है? Intensive farming, southern France. Intensive grain farming. This is intensive farming. Ring number 2. And here comes what? Prairies. Sorry, prairies लिख रहा हूँ. Steppes. Remember Ukraine, Russia steppes. वहाँ पर क्या होता है? And the wood thing is gone. Do we get that? तो ये वो जो लिखवाया आपको, what I made you write down, that what Olaf Johansson and Valkenburg did was this. They applied it. यहाँ तक दिखता है, उसके आगे नहीं दिखता. उसके आगे होना is a little difficult. Is everyone comfortable with the model? It's real world applicability. In India also, Khadir Bangar, I told you, and it is wrong to expect that applicability should be there. With me on this? Any questions, please ask. Comfortable? Model easy था. I think this was much easier than what Chris Taylor had done. Chris Taylor के work में I find it a lot of challenge, but for Von Thunen, I believe for 1820s, amazing work. 1820s, amazing work. Everyone with me? Are we done? आज है political geography. हमारा topic क्या है? 2 topic है हमारे पास. We have 2 topics. One is this, and other model is the geopolitical model, heartland theory. So because I have only half an hour, so I thought of taking boundaries and frontier today. Heartland theory will be in the last class. Heartland and rimland theory. Geopolitics. This will be in Tuesday's class, last class of the course on Tuesday, 11:30 a.m. Is everyone with me? So why the rings after 3 are common? They can be overlapping also with the others if different for all of them. अरे यार राखी रहने दो यार, मतलब क्या तो दिमाग ही लगाएंगे यार. आप एक बात बताओ, कोई अपनी स्पेशलिटी करता है तो उसकी इंटेंसिव तो अपने एरिया का होगा ना. इंटेंसिव कितना है? 7% ऑफ द एरिया, वो उसका कॉमन है. बाकी सब वो उसका स्पेशल है, बाकी सब कॉमन है. सर व्हाई द रिंग आफ्टर 3 आर कॉमन? अरे भाई एक्सटेंसिव, वो पूरा का पूरा एरिया एक्सटेंसिव लैंड यूज हो गया ना, पूरा एरिया ही एक्सटेंसिव हो गया. आपको सिटी के पास ही तो स्पेशलाइजेशन चाहिए. 7%, वो 30% कैसे लाएंगे? ओवरलैप हो जाएगा. श्रीलंका है और इंडिया है, श्रीलंका है और इंडिया है. अगर आपके पास एवरीवन, श्रीलंका और इंडिया को कितना मिलता है? 12 नॉटिकल माइल मिलता है कि नहीं मिलता है? Do we get 12 nautical mile territorial water? And how much is the EEZ? 200 nautical mile. I'm saying 200 will overlap, 12 will not overlap. Now a smart question comes from Raki, जो भी smartness आप दिखा रहे हो. Sir, why is it that 12 is not overlapping but 200 will overlap? अरे भाई थोड़ा सा 7% of the land, maybe you are specialized in barley, maybe you know something. So आप अपनी demand के हिसाब से, depending upon the size of your city, you will decide how much vegetable, how much that is there. So ये तो simple logic पे चले थे हम कि भाई 3 जो होते हैं वो रिंग आपके स्पेशल, आपकी wood demand आपके हिसाब से, आपका इंटेंसिव कल्टीवेशन आपके हिसाब से रहा, सारा का सारा जो बड़ा एरिया है, देयर विल बी एन ओवरलैप. दिस इज व्हाट आई सेड. योर क्वेश्चन इज नाउ सर 3 के बाद ओवरलैप क्यों? तो अभी आप क्या कर रहे हो? जीरो नॉलेज पे बैठकर भरता बना रहे हो. सर व्हाई द रिंग आफ्टर 3 आर कॉमन? दे कैन बी ओवरलैपिंग आल्सो विद द अदर्स इफ डिफरेंट फॉर ऑल ऑफ देम. डजंट कॉमन मीन ओवरलैप ओनली? डजंट कॉमन मीन दैट दे आर ओवरलैपिंग? व्हेन आई से these rings are common, that means these rings are overlapping for each other. They are not distinct to one only. True or not? तो बात से बात ना निकालें, थोड़ा सा पढ़ें इसको. पहला जो आपको समझ आ रहा है, आपको तो समझ भी कुछ और ही आने लगता है, तो बड़ी दिक्कत है. So in the break, my wife was helping my son do something, mathematics. So yesterday he was doing mathematics with me. Yesterday he was doing this thing, speed is equal to, or speed into time is equal to distance. Maths कर रहा था. I taught him everything okay. Then he did question number 1. 10 kilometer per hour is how much in meters per second? Is everyone okay? So 10 kilometer per hour is how much is meter per second? If you travel 2 kilometer per hour, how much will you travel in 30 minutes? yesterday, the questions that were asked were not on speed, time, distance. The questions were playing on conversion of units. Do you get that? Today, my wife is teaching me. So the question came, if the speed is this, if the time is this, find the distance. So what is he supposed to do? Speed into time is equal to distance. But what was he doing yesterday? Conversion. So the moment he looked at it, he started converting. Suppose it was, like your speed is 6 kilometers per hour and your time is 2 hours. Tell me the distance. So answer obviously is 12 kilometers. But that boy was doing it as 6 kilometers. Let us convert it into minute. Let us convert it into second. Let us convert this into minute. She was surprised. She said, what's your approach here? Why are you converting everything? So in the break, she asked me, what have you taught him? Why is he converting everything? I said, he learned level 1 yesterday. He learned conversion. Now he's trying to do what he knows rather than what is asked. So yesterday he understood what is speed, time, distance, 3 variables, but the questions that he practiced was only about that. So many of you are behaving like this. ज़्यादा पता नहीं है सर, ये कॉमन है तो क्या ये ओवरलैप भी तो हो सकते हैं? कॉमन है तो क्या ओवरलैप भी तो हो सकता है? मींस द सेम भाई. पहली बार मॉडल पढ़ा है, देखो इसको थोड़ा सा, इसको अब जब समझ में आ गया तो शुड वी रीड अबाउट इट. कहां पर मिल जाएगा? ज्योग्राफी में सिंपल में मिलेगा. क्रिस्टालर का मॉडल था, एग्रीकल्चर का भी मॉडल है, पार्ट 2 में यू विल फाइंड दैट. पढ़ेंगे तो समझ में आएगा. सो प्लीज डोंट बी कट ऑन दिस, टक ऑन दिस. पूछा व्हाट इज लोकेशनल रेंट? लोकेशनल रेंट इज ट्रांसपोर्ट कॉस्ट. कैसे मान लें यार? Do you understand? So everyone will grow from A, then will come to B. But I'm saying here, sitting at A from the vantage point of view and creating some hypothetical question is a problem. And not even understanding common and overlap means the same. Common का मतलब दो चीजें common है तभी तो overlap हो रहा होगा. I hope you get that idea. वैसे तो नहीं पूछना चाहिए, but फिर भी पूछने की हिम्मत रखता हूँ, because that opens up a student's mind. Are these two words the same or different? Are these two words the same or different? Boundaries and frontiers. Are these two words same or different? And if they are different, then what is the difference? Can anyone tell me that? What is the difference? Anyone? Any guesses? What is the difference between boundary and frontier? Boundary, now if I wait for you, then eternity will happen. Boundary is a line. Clearly designated. LOC, boundary. What is frontier? Zone of transition, separating two distinct regions, units, cultures. If LOC is an example, I would say Himalayas are a frontier. Between what? Indian and Chinese culture and civilization. Do you get that? What is the difference? Front is the zone of interaction. If you remember climate also, warm air mass, cold air mass. What do we have? This transitional zone is called frontier. That was called front. Yes, I said front is not a line, front is a zone. Frontiers transform into boundaries. Do you get that? Frontiers will eventually turn into a boundary if the distinction is very, very clear. Do we get that? Frontier is an essential thing. Frontier is, when we say knowledge frontiers, frontier can have another meaning. The leading edge or portion. Front आता है यहाँ से. जिसे कहते हैं ना frontal surface. Forehead को front कहा जाता है. So human beings, human civilization keep on expanding, keep on growing. When they will grow, they'll enter new areas. Yes or no? When they enter new areas, they will come in contact with other areas also. The place where intermingling begins, that is called frontier. If people allow that to begin, it's okay. But people might say, no, I don't want any beginning, any mingling to happen. Let us convert this frontier into a boundary. Do we get that? Frontiers, कई तरह के हो सकते हैं. As I told you, natural frontier. Natural frontier is what? Himalayas. Can I say boundary भी natural हो सकती है? Like a river is a boundary. Yes, Rio Grande. Rio Grande is the boundary between US and Mexico. Do we get that? Frontier. Frontier is that. Many countries can become frontier. अगर आपने सुना होगा इंडो चाइना, लाओस, कंबोडिया, वियतनाम, उनको फ्रंटियर रखा गया. Do you know that Afghanistan was never colonized? इधर पाकिस्तान हो गया, ब्रिटिश साइड, उधर रशिया हो गए. To keep in between buffer zone. तो buffer zone क्या है? एक frontier है. Do you agree? Yes. In between the boundary line of India and Pakistan, there is a land zero. Do you know that? Land zero. What is that? That is a frontier. Do we get that? Frontier में exchanges होते हैं, frontier dynamics होते हैं, and frontiers keep on evolving, and eventually they'll turn into a boundary. Is everyone okay? Frontiers and boundaries. I think good frontiers make good neighbors. Good boundaries make good neighbors. True. And world without boundaries, ideal world. but then there will always be clashes, क्योंकि सबका अपना growth होता है तो frontier वो होते हैं. Word frontier comes from the Latin word forehead, part of which is ahead of the hinterland. Foreland or borderland भी कहा जाता है इसे. Frontier is neither legal nor political or intellectual concept. It is a natural social concept. I hope you can understand. Frontier में कोई boundary नहीं बनी. Frontier है. That's what we are talking about. And it is the spontaneous tendency of human beings to grow. So when they grow into other sphere of influence. Remember, एक दूसरे का sphere of influence जब overlap करता है, so that is called frontier. Development of patterns of civilization में frontiers between ecumene. Remember, ecumene is what? Living space. तो ये होगा ही होगा. So frontiers will be created as overlap once. Will they turn into boundaries? Well, I don't know. Human element, there is a huge role of human element in shaping the frontiers. First of all, we mark it. We draw boundaries, no? Regionalization. And then we delimit it. So it is human beings who have marked frontiers. They have marked frontiers and they are the ones who are delimiting it. And what we are saying is the frontiers have always remained in a region of contact between two genre divides. So जब भी होगा, so that is also going to be there. Tell me one thing. We are talking about India and Bangladesh. So एक frontier रहेगा या नहीं रहेगा? There's a boundary, that's a different thing. But will there be exchange or not? Will there be exchange? Have you heard of many people migrating from China to Sri Lanka to India to avoid that economic crisis? कितने लोग, especially इधर से मन्नार region में, Gulf of Mannar में, Kalai Mannar, they are coming through the boats. Get that? So frontier समझ में आया पहली बात. Frontier is just like air masses overlapping. It is an inevitability. There will be an overlap which will always be there. That is frontier. Types of frontiers. Can it be a natural frontier? As I told you, natural barriers are there. Natural frontiers. हिमालय की मैंने बात किया. Can there be ethnic frontiers? Ethnic means that they are, like human created culture, anthropogenic things. Have you heard of Balkanization? Balkan region. Turkish ecumen. आपने सुना history में Ottoman Empire, Chinese civilization, Germanic ecumen. So what are these? These are human beings they have created. They can also be geometrical. The period of colonial expansion in 19th century saw the rise of large number of geometrical or astronomical frontiers. Yes. These were almost empty areas or partly unexplored. The frontiers consisted of straight lines and were drawn across the unknown international territories regardless of territorial features. So हमने ऐसा कुछ यहाँ पर हम रहते हैं, यहाँ वो रहते हैं और बीच में country है. This is land and this we have decided as frontier. हमने बना दिया astronomical by this is I will not enter this land, you will not enter this land, this is that. And especially political ideas में ज़्यादा होता है तो there are vast political frontier like mountainous border of Iran to the west of Hindu Kush between British Empire and Turkish Empire. So ये जो ईरान था, Iran was between British and Turkish. I told you Afghanistan was between British and Russian. True? So this is how they have been doing that. Can there be ideological frontier? Remember Cold War? Cold War में तो ये decide किया गया था everyone. Do you see that Ukraine is like a frontier? This is Russia. This is Russia. This is Western Europe. NATO trying to influence Ukraine was influencing the frontier. Do you get that? जितने भी ex-Soviet countries हैं, NATO wants to pull them towards themselves. So which is I'm giving them freedom, Russia has given them freedom, but they should be aligned to me. Their ideology should not be very different. So this has been one reason where I was talking to one of my students in foreign services. They said, sir, it is really, like a little glaring that, NATO reaching Ukraine, it is almost knocking at this thing. So Russia would not have allowed this. Do you understand the idea of ideological frontier? Settlement frontier. This tends to manifest the expansion of ecumene into empty lands within the territorial. In other words, it is indicative of extension of national territory of an area remain not occupied. तो आपने देखा होगा कुछ areas uninhabited होते हैं. And देखा, मुझे लगता है settlement frontier वाला काम चाइना ने किया. Chinization of Tibet. Huge gap between mainland China and Tibet. Roads बनाए, धीरे-धीरे settlements बनाने शुरू किए. China having its settlements and bases इधर अक्साई चीन की तरफ, अरुणाचल प्रदेश के उसी settlement frontier. बाद में क्या बोलेंगे? ये तो हमारा ही था हमेशा. अभी boundary नहीं. Right now it's not a boundary, but they will acquire that. मतलब right now कह रहा हूँ अब तो बन गई है boundary. But then when the issue was, when Mao Zedong was there and when China was spreading its wings, so that is what was frontiers. Is everyone okay? Everyone okay with frontiers and types of frontiers? Can frontiers turn into boundaries? So जो frontiers थे पहले China ने कहा Tibet, ठीक है हमारे साथ है. Yes, Uyghur province that Xinjiang हमारे साथ है. Hong Kong, Macau are frontier. Taiwan frontier. Now what is China trying to do? Hong Kong, Macau, they are with us. Taiwan, that should be with us. Tibet is with us. Arunachal Pradesh we are looking at, and even Aksai Chin. Yes, and Xinjiang, whatever you say, हमें जो करना है वो हम करेंगे. Has gradually China first created frontiers and then concretizing them into boundaries. True or not? No, that is with the wrong design. So जो वो idea था Hindu Chini भाई भाई, Nehruvian times, where we saw China attacking India. Yes, taking away our territory, saying Hindu Chini भाई भाई, and we were like, okay, we will never go into war with them. Yes or no? So that's what we are talking about. Rizal में Major Chetan Singh, वहाँ वो believe ही नहीं कर सकते थे कि Chinese have come and they have come with armed forces when that happened. इनफैक्ट द आर्मी डिड नॉट बिलीव दैट ये अटैक हुआ था व्हेन इट हैपेंड ऑन मेजर शैतान सिंह एंड हिज बटालियन। बाद में पता चला उनको परमवीर चक्र मिलता है। तो पहले आप सेटलमेंट फ्रंटियर एंड ऑल दोस फ्रंटियर बनाएंगे एंड बिना बताए ऐसा ही तो ये जो फिंगर्स हो रहे हैं हमारे पैंगोंग त्सो रीजन में, those were frontiers or not? We used to go and patrol those areas. They used to come and patrol. So what was it? Frontier, no? Frontier. Suddenly out of the blues, what does China want? अरे ये तो हमारी बाउंड्री है क्योंकि हमारे लोग इधर आते थे। ऐसे तो हमारे भी जाते थे, लेकिन आप जाके दिखाओ। True or not? A similar thing happened in Siachen. Siachen used to be a frontier. When Pakistan was thinking otherwise, so India ने कहा go acquire, पहुंच जाओ ऊपर. We'll have to place ourselves. इसे बाउंड्री बना दो अभी। True or not? So frontiers will turn into boundaries. Transformation of frontier to boundary. In their geographical evolution, frontiers seem to have passed through three distinguished periods. In period होते, first phase, frontier is no more than the limit of the state, and beyond it lays unknown void. एक तरह का limit of the state है. Second phase began with the organization of frontier marches, which laid transition between territory of state and empty region. And in the final stage, the frontier changes into a frontier line. तो ये चाइना से क्या कर रहे हैं? ये सिर्फ वॉक करने आते हैं, पेट्रोल के लिए आते हैं। ये सुनो, पहले तो लिमिटेड स्टेट है। द पीपल फ्रॉम टिबेट, द पीपल फ्रॉम लेह लद्दाख कौन है यहाँ पर? एनिमल हर्डर्स आर देयर। Yes, nobody is bothering them. Let them be whatever is there. This is a frontier between us. Then what they will do? Their people will start patrolling. Our people will also start patrolling. And finally they'll say ये line मेरी है। इस पे जो है military level talk हो जानी चाहिए। Let's have eyeball to eyeball confrontation. उसके बाद मारपीट and all those things. This simply happened when the ecumenic civilization advanced and much land around it receded gradually. Am I talking reality? Do we have examples around us? How frontiers are transforming into boundary? Question क्या आता है? What are frontiers and boundaries? What are the differences? Simple question आता है। और टाइप्स ऑफ बाउंड्रीज, जैसे भी टाइप्स ऑफ फ्रंटियर्स देखे ऐसे हमारे पास टाइप्स ऑफ बाउंड्रीज है। किसने दिया? रिचर्ड हार्टशॉल ने दिया। रिचर्ड हार्टशॉल gave classification of boundaries, antecedent boundaries. Physical landscape defined the boundaries well before the civilization. So what happened was antecede. Antecede means in time, before in time. Antecedent boundary means these were already there. These boundaries were already there. Say for example, Malaysia Indonesia boundary in Borneo is partially settled. वो पहले से ही physical landscape is such that if we are looking at Borneo Island, remember Borneo Island? Borneo में मलेशिया का है साबा सारावाक, साबा एंड सारावाक, और इधर क्या है? इंडोनेशिया। सो ऑलरेडी देयर वाज अ बाउंड्री बिफोर पीपल सेटल ओवर देयर। ठीक है, वो उनका एरिया, हमारा एरिया डिफाइंड, बट देयर कैन बी सब्सिक्वेंट आल्सो। नाउ अ न्यू कंट्री इज क्रिएटेड, सो वियतनाम एंड चाइना। सो चाइना has claimed everything, तो हम वियतनाम से नेगोशिएट कर रहे हैं। इंडिया एंड चाइना, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ अ बाउंड्री? सब्सिक्वेंट बाउंड्री ओवर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ दिस थिंग। ठीक है, कई बार क्या होता है? देयर कैन बी सुपर इम्पोज्ड बाउंड्री, फोर्सिबली ड्रॉन बाउंड्री दैट कट्स थ्रू यूनिफाइड कल्चरल बाउंड्री। ठीक है, तो ये न्यू गिनी आइलैंड है। न्यू गिनी आइलैंड को इसमें काटा गया पपुआ न्यू गिनी, और ये क्या है? इरियन जया। दिस बिलोंग्स टू इंडोनेशिया एंड पपुआ न्यू गिनी इज अ कंट्री। एक बात बताइए, क्रिएशन ऑफ बांग्लादेश, सुपर इम्पोज बाउंड्री। ड्यूरिंग द ब्रिटिश टाइम, पार्टीशन ऑफ बंगाल, सुपर इम्पोज बाउंड्री। You get that? Antecedent, before people settle over there, there was already a boundary. Subsequent, once people are there, you are deciding a boundary through negotiation. Superimposed, something forcibly put on you. Partition of India, superimposed. True or not? And a relict boundaries no longer serve its purpose, but the imprints are still there. Have you heard of the Wall of Germany, Great Wall of Germany? उस wall को गिरा दिया, अब है नहीं वो। Relict boundary. Will you remember this? 2020 में मेंस में क्वेश्चन आया है, short note on genetic boundary classification by Richard Hartshorne. Clear everyone? Frontiers and boundaries, ये मटेरियल आपको दे रहा हूँ। What is frontier? What is boundary? Straight line boundaries with examples. Lot of examples are there. Which theory, core periphery theory can apply over here? Organismic theory. तो ये अभी मैं geopolitics पे जो आपसे बात करूँगा. That is not done till now. So when I'm talking to you on Tuesday on that, there I will bring these ideas more. British imperial theories. So that is why I'm skipping it, but the material should be complete. So that is there. Difference between boundary and frontier. Frontier outer oriented, centrifugal forces. But boundary encloses. इसके बाहर कोई नहीं जा सकता. Inner orientation. Frontier is integrating. People can come and mix. Boundary, you cannot cross it. Frontier is social. There are cultural groups, ethnic groups, tribal के बीच में frontier होता है. यहाँ political होता है. Frontier is area. Remember? But this is a line. Frontier past होता है. पहले frontier आता है. Later on, what that happens? It turns into a thing. Frontiers are immovable. Frontiers are natural frontiers. No huge gap. But boundaries can be changed or not? Boundaries can definitely be changed. Superimposed boundaries can also be there. ठीक है? Types of boundaries, I told you, natural boundaries, national boundaries, German doctrine. There are many types of ideas in this. The most important one is this one. Functional or genetic classification, which I gave you, the 4 ones by Richard Hartshorne. Otherwise, morphological can also be there. Physiography, forest, geometric, anthropogenic, they can also be there. Is everyone okay? I want you to spend tomorrow, there is no class, spend reading this, and I have given some questions also. उनके आंसर भी लगाए आपके लिए. Examine the consequence of creation of superimposed political boundaries, like in case of Africa. ये GS में पूछा हूँ. कैसे बाउंड्रीज बनी है वो आपके लिए डाला मैंने. Examine the challenge associated with maritime boundaries. Remember maritime boundaries? UNCLOS, अनक्लॉज को भी यहाँ पर डाला है, रीड द आंसर, ये मैं उसको अभी फाइल को अपलोड कर दूंगा, प्लीज गो थ्रू दिस. Political geography you will understand only when you have understood this very basic idea of frontier and boundary. Is everyone okay? ये मेरे master stroke programs से I have identified certain good samples for you so that you can see content is also there, but I would want you to have a look at them. How people integrate maps, quick maps and everything. Examine the challenges associated with demarcation and delimitation of international boundary of India. ये paper 2 में भी question आता है. तो थोड़ा सा जो ये एरिया है हमारा paper 1 and paper 2 का overlap है, paper 2 के लिए ज़्यादा important है. So I have put that also, and the theory will come on Tuesday. Is everyone okay? So next class is on Tuesday. I'll have to wind it up because 2 o'clock I have to attend a meeting. Get that? Thank you. Have a nice day. The material will be uploaded. Again, a request. Please, बच्चों, please read from Geography Made Simple Part 2, the theories, now that you understand. And ये handout जरूर पढ़ना. उर्वी ने शायद एक handout के लिए रखा है, regional development वाला नहीं डाला. उर्वी, I've taken note of that. I'll tell the team to upload it today. Get that? Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.